Aloha, and welcome to the BCI 2000 Response Time Box tutorial video. The aim of this video is to describe the advantages of using the Response Time Box and outline the procedure for its implementation into BCI 2000 for use in experimentation. BCI 2000 is an open-source, general-purpose application for data acquisition, processing, and feedback in brain-computer interface experiments. It is a real-time application that can synchronize biosignals with input device signals, acquire and process data, present stimuli, and interact with external devices. It can import and export data in common file formats and operates on most Windows systems. It is very easy to incorporate peripheral devices, such as the Response Time Box, into BCI 2000. The Response Time Box is a device designed to measure response time with high accuracy and minimal latency. The device is a small rectangular box equipped on the front with 4 buttons, on the left side with a light port for a photodiode, on the bottom a TTL out port, and on the back a sound port for audio input, a TTL in port, and a USB serial port, which provides both serial communication and power to the box via USB connection to the computer. Many experiments depend on gauging a subject's reaction time to external stimuli. The Response Time Box, when used with BCI 2000, conveniently synchronizes the subject's behavioral responses with their physiological signals, reducing the burden of data extraction and analysis. Not only is the device easy to implement for the researcher, but the design is also simple and will assist in minimizing distractions for the subject. To implement the Response Time Box in BCI 2000, compile the extension in your source module by enabling contributed extensions in your CMake configuration. You can do this by first going into your root build folder from the BCI 2000 project folder and opening configure.sh.cmd. In the CMake GUI, enable Extensions Response Time Box and then click Generate. Then, recompile BCI 2000. Once the extension is built into the source module, enable it by appending log response time box equals 1 along the source module line within the batch file, as shown here. The Response Time Box is configured for use in the Source tab. The configurable parameters are log response time box. This parameter is a boolean that enables or disables all response time box functions. RT button press, RT light, and RT sound. RT button press, RT light, and RT sound are all boolean parameters that enable or disable detection of all button press or release events, light detection, and sound detection, respectively. RT sensitivity is an enumeration that sets the sensitivity of the device, which controls the light and sound ports simultaneously. The higher the sensitivity, the less light and sound needed to trigger an event, so if one intends to use both light and sound, they ought to balance the sensitivity depending on their environment. RT COM port sets the COM port for the RT box. Entering auto will cause BCI 2000 to attempt to automatically find and connect to the RT box COM port. If automatic connection fails, the COM port address of the Response Time Box can be found in the Ports tab of the Windows Device Manager, as shown here. When an event is triggered, it is written to a BCI 2000 state. States exist for button, light, and sound events. Button, light, and sound events can be triggered either with an analog device, such as a button press, a photodiode, or an audio pulse, but the same events can also be triggered with a TTL-in. There is also an aux state, which has events that can only be triggered with a TTL-in. Button, light, sound, and aux events are all Boolean events, meaning that they are 0 at rest and 1 when activated. The Response Time Box can read many events simultaneously and can report their succession with extreme precision. At any time an event occurs in the RT box, the device time is written to a state in BCI 2000. Due to the fact that the device time is stored in 6 bytes, the first and last 3 bytes are stored as separate events in BCI 2000. These are events event time 1 and event time 2. Similarly, the device time is continuously pulled and stored to con time 1 and con time 2. Next, we will explore how to set up and use the TTL functionality of the response time box. The TTL ports can be utilized by using the Parallel Port Filter extension. With the Parallel Port Filter extension, only 8 pins are accessible for reading or writing at a time. With this extension, pins D0 through D7 can be written to or read from. A pin out for the parallel port is needed in creating custom cables and is shown here. To use the TTL in feature of the response time box with the parallel port extension, a custom DB25 male to DA15 male cable is needed. The pinout necessary to construct the TTL in end of the cable can be found on the response time box BCI 2000 wiki page and is shown here. The TTL in signal from the parallel port module sends low active signals. Thus, it is recommended to invert signal conditions to account for this feature. Signal conditions should be defined in the Parallel Port tab in the BCI 2000 Configure menu. For example, signal conditions can depend on stimulus code, which can be used to activate certain TTL-in pins. This will produce changes in the states identical to manual inputs, as shown here. To use the TTL out feature of the response time box, a custom DB25 male to DB25 male cable is needed. The pinout necessary to construct the TTL out end of the cable can be found on the response time box BCI 2000 wiki page and is shown here. If one wishes to read from the TTL out, they must include log parallel port equals LPT1, LPT1 being the parallel port address, in the source module command line in their batch file. This address can be found in the Ports tab of the Device Manager, as shown here. When a pin is triggered, its corresponding bit in the 8-bit parallel port event value will go to 1, and the value measured by BCI 2000 will increase accordingly. In this video, we have discussed the advantages of implementing the response time box in BCI 2000, how to set up and read from it, and the process of utilizing its TTL functionality. We hope that you have found this video helpful, and we encourage anyone with further questions to explore the response time box documentation page on the BCI 2000 Wikipedia. Thank you for watching our video. Aloha!